which way to go. Go on, try to find a way. Come on, try to find a way to get there. And I can't see another way. And I would die before I put my hands up. Surrender all of my weakness. Give me the strength to see me through and don't let me go. Down that same old road I've been before. I've been down the same old road I've been before. I've been.
Perfect, Brad. Listen, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Surrender is unleashed on the world, your debut single.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I don't know, nervous, anxious, excited, all the above, you know. But it's been a long time coming, and I'm super thrilled that it's finally happening. It feels like it was going to take forever for this moment to come. So
Here we are.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's a heck of a single, man. Like, really, congratulations. We're gonna go into detail about it, but the songwriting, the production, it's fantastic. Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely, Brad. So, let's start with this. Obviously, you mentioned it a little. The year started with big plans, full steam ahead at Dark Horse Recording Studios in Tennessee. About halfway done with the record, a batch of songs ready to go, and the pandemic hit, right, Brad? So why don't you tell us a little bit, it feels like a lifetime ago, but like, tell us a little bit about March, when everything happened. What was your mindset? Where were you, and how you adapted?
Yeah, it does feel like a lifetime ago. Like, yeah. So in February, I cut like 5 songs that I was planning on doing an EP with, and things were going great. And I was actually in the studio. I don't know the exact date, but it was mid-March, and doing some overdubs when I got the call from my bartending job saying, "Hey, you're getting laid off. Everything's going to lockdown." So it was just wild, like being in the studio at that moment and just like having these songs almost done and like having these plans to release them as an EP. And then all of a sudden lockdown hits, studio closes, don't get a chance to finish them. So yeah, it was a little difficult, having all these big plans, hopefully playing a bunch of shows in the summertime and all that. But,
Right.
I guess everyone's in that same boat right now. So, but yeah, it's, but at the same time, it was kind of nice too, because it allowed me to like take a little step back from where I was at that moment.
Sure.
A couple months later with like a new perspective. So I think all in all, it ended up being a good thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think everybody got hit in the teeth one way or another, but you're gonna come out stronger for sure, Brad. Let's talk a little bit about your early life for a second, Brad, if you will. I mean, you were born in Wisconsin, Milwaukee area.
Yep.
You moved to Nashville, I want to say 3 years ago, 2017. But I definitely want to ask about like your growing up. Like, how did music get into your life, Brad? Were you in a musical family? Where does the DNA come from?
Oh, it's actually kind of funny. I wouldn't say I come from a musical family at all. I don't know, just from a young age, like I listened to like, Tom Petty and Fleetwood Mac and all that. That was like the soundtrack to my childhood. Like I think I had like 3 Eagles albums, and
oh my God, that's a childhood.
And that's all we listened to was those 3 Eagles albums in the car. And I don't know, so that just like, I've always loved that era of music, and the late 60s, 70s stuff. So yeah, like, I don't know, my parents always had a love for music, so, but not really musicians. My dad learned harmonica, so I mean,
That's pretty dope.
But no, my brothers somehow got some, I don't know, 2 of my brothers are also musicians as well, so I don't know where it came from, but we really love it, so.
That's cool. Well, listen, I mean, those albums that you mentioned, if you're going to be in an island, you want to have Petty, you want to have the Eagles, you want to have Fleetwood Mac, you're good to go. So that's cool. That makes sense, man. So you start playing, you start, developing your skills, and your first band, Lowdown Sound. Interesting band. I don't know if it was your first one, but it was certainly the ones we caught wind of.
Yeah.
And it had that late '60s, '70s kind of vibe to it. Um, how do you remember this creative period? It was pretty interesting. The sound.
Like 70s, you mean, and the 60s?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, like Lowdown Sound. Yeah.
oh, Lowdown Sound, yeah. Yeah, we were definitely influenced. I mean, the 70s, 60s definitely came through. Listening to a lot of like jam bands as well. There was a lot of Grateful Dead influence in that band, and
Cool.
yeah, there was kind of a lot of influence. Like that group of players, which are still really good friends of mine, and a couple of them are my brothers as well. Yeah, it was definitely a very collaborative group, and we had a lot of influences that we were drawn from. So, I mean, there was everything from funk to soul to rock and roll, like Rolling Stones and Allman Brothers type stuff. So, yeah, all in that era of music.
Definitely. I mean, it's a pretty cool project. There's some stuff on YouTube if people want to check out the beginnings of Bradley Curtis, but
yeah,
for sure. So I want to talk about your move to Nashville, because as we alluded to, in 3 years ago, you moved to Nashville. Was it hard for you living in Wisconsin, Brad? Because you seem like you were so close to your family. I mean, there's media out there of you teaching guitar to to your little cousin Mackenzie, and like just like close to like that whole vibe. How was it living in Wisconsin?
Oh, I mean, yeah, like all my family's there. Both sides of my parents grew up there. So, it was a little difficult leaving, and, so many great friendships I've built over the years there. And, but I don't know, it never felt like really leaving. I still make it back at least like twice a year. And
Cool.
it's been nice getting away from the cold. I mean, like, I'm sure right now they're probably like 30 degrees up there. Don't miss that, but yeah, I mean, it was tough leaving some family and friends behind, but yeah, I don't know, I think it's been a good move to Nashville for me.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, let's talk a little bit about your single, and then I want to ask about your songwriting process. I find it fascinating. Your single "Surrender." I mean, Brad, the lyrics, man, holy shit. I mean, ahead in the distance and down the road, you know a light in the darkness, show me the way to go. I mean, goes on the chorus, go on and try to find a way. Come on, try to find a way together. It's just really inspiring, man. Like it just touches your soul in a way. So yeah, I mean, fantastic songwriting. And by the way, I love at that 2 minute 40 mark when it seems like the song is like, okay, shutting down. And then it's like, no, it's not. We're going to hyperdrive. Buckle up. Fantastic, fantastic twister, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, there's a quote that you've alluded to from Leonard Cohen that is, I wish I were one of those people who wrote songs quickly, but I'm not. So it takes me a great deal of time to find out what the song is.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that quote and about your songwriting process, Brad.
Yeah, I resonate with that quote so much. I wish I could just like Paul McCartney will say how he'll knock a song out in like 7 minutes and like it's just like a great, Beatles song or whatever. I wish I could do that, but I don't know. For me, it's especially with the songs I've been writing lately, I've been getting to more of a personal topic. And so it's been kind of almost like a healing process too, of kind of like, a lot of times when I write music, the music comes first, most of the time. And then it's kind of just trying to find what the feeling is in the chord progression. And, and then I kind of let it from there, try to discover I try to just listen to the music and see where it wants to go. So yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting getting used to this new process of getting more personal with lyrics as well. So, yeah, I don't know. It's been a journey, really getting there at the point of where I am now, songwriting.
I feel you. I mean, look, when you're working, Brad, because people see you on stage and people, think musicians, it's all fun, but it's work. The actual work of writing lyrics. Is it something that you go somewhere like on your off days from bartending or whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go lock myself from 9 to 5 and I'm going to create something. every day, or is it kind of like when the inspiration hits you?
Uh, I would say it's like a little bit of both. I think up until moving to Nashville, it was always just kind of when the inspiration hit.
Mm.
But since living here, just seeing how some of the songwriters work, like they'll
Yeah.
have like 2 hours etched out in the day where they're just there, and they can just turn it on. So I've been inspired by that whole thing here. So I've been trying to like, obviously, yeah, when you're inspired, I try to like write and just get it out and like go until I got nothing left. And then, but at the same time, I'm trying to get to the point where I can just like flip that switch in my brain and, turn it on and write some great lyrics. So it's definitely a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's funny, and I'm not a musician, but I find the process fascinating, and I love talking about it and for my audience. But we had a comedian here once, and she said, Jamie, you don't understand. Every day I gotta write a joke, even if it's a piece of crap, and throw it away. It's like it's the discipline of the process. So do you resonate with that at all?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's kind of like a muscle, like you got to work it out. It's writing lyrics. I try to sometimes just like journal write at least every day, try and like spew, even if it's just like brain spew, just whatever's coming out at the moment, just to like get in the habit of getting words together and formulating ideas. And but yeah, like I don't know, for me it comes down to the melody a lot. So it's like with lyrics, it's like I generally have idea of where I want to go, but then the melody and the music usually come first for me. So like then it's trying to fit the words into the melody. Sometimes you might have a line that you wrote before you had a melody that's a little bit wordy, and you have to find a way to like shorten it to fit into the melody, or like lengthen it, vice versa.
Yeah.
Interesting process.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
Yeah.
certainly a discipline, and for the songs that you write, I mean, like this one, it doesn't just come from the sky for sure. Want to ask about your covers for a second, Brady? That's all right, because your covers are quite amazing.
Thank you.
You've covered, Gary Clark Jr., you've done Black Pumas, and just off the top of my head, but you do a bunch, and it's not easy to do a cover, honestly. But you seem to just every one of them you hit him out of the park. What's your your secret sauce to create these magical covers?
I don't know. It kind of hits me when I hear a song and I'm like, oh man, I really love that song, and I feel like I could maybe do a version of it. I don't know. Like I feel like I should probably do more of them, honestly. But yeah, it's basically just comes down to a song that I really like. And I don't know. Another thing too is I think a great song is like something that can be performed with a full band, full instrumentation, or it can be stripped down to just, guitar and vocal or piano and vocal. So, yeah, I don't know. So like a lot of times I'll find like those songs are great to just do a stripped down version of it, and put my own little take on it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You put just the right amount of your own Brad take on it, and that's what makes it magical. Awesome.
Yeah, I guess I tried to.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, listen, you've been so generous with your time, but I have to ask you, you met Dolly Parton and you had like a nice little moment with her, right? I have to ask you about this.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'll never forget meeting Dolly Parton, honestly.
And she seemed so happy to be next to you, by the way. She was like grinning ear to ear, like, I'm with this handsome man. She was so happy.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a story about it. Maybe I'll tell you. Yeah, sorry, Dolly, if you're listening. But no, it was kind of perfect. So I was actually there 2 days, and at that point I was just like interning, grabbing coffee or whatever they needed. I just wanted to be around. Like she was doing last year a special for 50th anniversary, so they were cutting some songs for that. So I got to hear her doing like Jolene, and it was just incredible. And so I was there 2 days for it. And so the second day, I decided, like, I'm going to just wait out on, like, Dark Horse is this beautiful ranch studio in Franklin, Tennessee that it's just gorgeous. So I just decided to sit out on the porch because I knew she'd be showing up around 10 a.m. And I just wanted to, like, hold the door and just say, like, good morning, Dolly, So I'm sitting out on the swinging chair out on the porch, and here comes her Cadillac pulling up right in front. And her and her assistant get out, and forgive me, Dolly, but she doesn't see me, and I just hear her yell "tits" really loud, and then she looks right at me, and I didn't know what to say, and she's just like, "Oh my God, honey, I'm not talking about these big tits. I'm talking about, you know, when you put your shirt on a hanger and you get those little nipples on the corner. That's what I'm talking about." And so like I was just cracking up. I didn't know what to say at all, and I'm holding the door open for her, and she comes walking into this group in the studio, and then she tells the whole story to the whole group, and he's like, "That young man thought I was talking about my tits," and it was, I can't make this up. Like I never would be able to. So it's actually kind of funny if you go to my Instagram and see the pictures with Dolly. She was actually saying, we were kind of joking about what had happened earlier that day, and funny enough, she was just like finishing recording a new song called "Boob Job," and so just like this joke, and it was just, and the cameraman just kind of caught us laughing together. It was kind of too perfect.
What a story. What a story, Brad. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it was, I'll never forget it. I mean, Dolly is the most, like, honestly, like, she was so down to earth and hilarious and just like the kindest, warmest person ever. Like, she's amazing. Like, I couldn't say enough good words about her.
That's great. That's great. Well, Brad, listen, you've been so generous with your time. We're super excited to see what the new year and the future brings for you. We know it's all going to be good because your songwriting is A+. And congratulations on a debut single, Surrender, coming out tomorrow. By the time we air this, it's going to be out. So people, make sure you stream it and, you know, check it out. This fantastic singer-songwriter, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you. Bye.